Good morning, my wild and beautiful friends. Apricot season is finally upon us, and I have got the recipe for you. Today we're making a delicious apricot cobbler. Keep on watching to see how we make it. Suddenly, I have apricots coming out of my ears, and I could not be more happy about it. Between Steve's mom, Julie, and my Aunt Beth, we have so many apricots. I've been trying to think of fun and different ways to cook with these little guys, and I think we have a winner, folks. So I've got about 60 apricots here. I've rinsed them, and I'm pitting them. I've also got a stick of vegan butter. I like country crock for baking. I think it just tastes really nice and melts really well in with everything. So we're gonna make a really quick brown butter here. Browning our butter a little bit is really gonna up the ante in our flavor profile. It's going to make things taste a little bit more nutty and a little bit more rich and caramely. So I'm just melting this up in a saucepan. If you have a light colored saucepan, it works a little bit easier just because you can see the color that your butter is turning a little bit better. I've got a little white spatula that I'll stir with every once in a while so I can kind of see what that color looks like. Also, side note, I really need to get new covers for my stovetop. This is embarrassing. It's very dirty. I'm very sorry. Bear with the dirtiness. I swear the rest of my kitchen's pretty clean. So this is just starting to bubble a little bit here. It's been about 4 minutes. Once it starts to get really foamy and almost like sudsy, that's how you know you're getting there. You just want to keep a really watchful eye on it. I purposely did not do anything else but this because I know my personality and I know that I will let it burn. So I'm watching it really carefully. See how it's sudsing up like so? The butter will also start to release kind of a nutty smell as it starts to brown, so that's a really good indicator that you're just about there as well. So I've turned off the heat and we're just gonna pour it into our baking dishes here. I've got 2 of these cute little ceramic dishes. I'm going to split the butter between the 2. I love the idea of using these 2 little ones because I wanted to take some of this to one of our friends that can't leave her house very well. So it's an easy way to transport it. You can of course use a 9x13 dish. The larger the dish, the more cobbler-like it's going to be. With these smaller dishes, it's going to be a little bit more cakey, but I'm totally okay with that. And then we're just going to set these aside while we assemble our batter, and that batter is going to go right on top of our butter, and then our apricots will go on top of that. I should have said this sooner, but just so I can give credit where credit is due, this recipe is loosely based off of a plum and blueberry cobbler that Rainbow Plant Life's channel made. She has incredible recipes. I'm going to link above and below the cobbler recipe, but you should check her out. She has some amazing recipes and she's really entertaining to watch. So with that said, let us continue with our dry ingredients here. I've got some all-purpose flour in a bowl. I'm also going to add some oats to that. I will of course type below the amounts of everything that I used. To that I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar, and then to that we will add some baking powder and some cinnamon. I'm also going to add some nutmeg. If you have fresh nutmeg to grind, oh my gosh, it makes such a difference. I bought some to make some chai forever ago. It lasts forever, so it's worth having in your pantry. It makes such a difference flavor-wise, if you ask me. And it's really good on some cocktails, just saying. Good thing to have in your cupboard. So I'm gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of that. And now we're gonna get a little bit fancy with our soy milk, but it's really simple, I promise. So I've got our soy milk here. I also happen to have some cardamom pods that I use in our chai recipe as well. I'll link that above just for you because I think it's a pretty good one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break open these pods and we're going to put the seeds and the pods right into that soy milk and kind of let it infuse with that cardamom spiciness. It's gonna be so good. Now cardamom, at least to me, is a pretty strong flavor, so I feel like infusing it into the milk makes it so you can taste it, but it's not overpowering. So I'm just gonna do these 3 pods here and let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. I believe you could add it longer and it's not gonna get too strong. But 10 to 15 minutes seem to be enough because I'm pretty impatient, honestly. So that worked for me. You can still taste it in there, but it's not crazy spicy. Once we let that sit for about 10 minutes, we're gonna start adding our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients, and we will be ready to get this cobbler in the oven. Okay, I've got another little cup of our unsweetened soy milk here that does not have the cardamom in it. I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract, and then I'm gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract here. I'm just gonna eyeball it. And then we're gonna pour that in, and then we're gonna get to straining our cardamom soy milk. So to me, the easiest way to get those little pods out of our soy milk is to just strain them right through a strainer on our way into the batter mixture. So Doing that, I can smell the fragrant cardamom. It's going to be such a yummy touch to this cobbler. And then we're just going to whisk her right on up until we have a smooth batter, and we will be ready to assemble and bake it off. Okay, we have smooth batter. Well, now we have smooth batter because of the power of television or YouTube. So I've got our buttered dishes here. We're just gonna glop on, that's a technical term, we're gonna glop on our batter evenly into each pan. And again, you can totally use one large pan. And this is where the glopping, again, technical term, comes into play because it'll disperse it throughout your pan. With these small little pans, I really could have just poured it in because it's really gonna just bake, and those apricots are gonna just sink in a little bit. Not quite as much as if it was really spread out. Okay, there's batter in our pans. As you can see, that butter's kind of seeping up a little bit. Now I'm just gonna load them up with our apricots. These are gonna get soft and caramely and kind of infuse the rest of that batter with that juice that's gonna come out from them as they get cooked. It's gonna be so delicious. And since we didn't use too much sugar in the batter, I'm just going to use about a teaspoon of granulated sugar on the top of each so we can get some yummy crunchies on top of our apricots as they cook down. And then we're going to throw them in the oven at 375 degrees for about a half an hour, depending on your pan size and your oven. You'll be able to tell when the batter is golden and the fruit is sunk down a little bit and is nice and bubbly and soft. That's how you know your cobbler is ready. And these little bad boys, they definitely didn't sink as much because of the small surface area, but oh man, are they tasty. So I'm just gonna let these cool on the counter here, but definitely not all the way, because you know that I'm gonna have some hot cobbler with some ice cream, right? That is definitely happening. Buttery deliciousness. I cannot wait to dive into this. In fact, I couldn't wait so much that I didn't hit play to scoop out the first scoop. So that means I get a larger helping, because you got to see me scoop out the second scoop, nice and steamy and browned, and cakey. And if you're gonna do cobbler, you know you got to have some vanilla bean ice cream with it, right? It's totally a thing. So I found this oat milk vanilla bean by Soy Delicious, and guys, it does not disappoint. So I got a big old scoop here. I'll get it on there while it's still nice and warm. Let it melt in. I mean, come on, this is apricot season at its finest, if I do say so myself. I so hope you guys give this a try. You can use any sort of stone fruit. It'll work. It's so delicious, so simple. Totally the flavors of the season. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're all staying safe and healthy, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. Cheers.